What is going on, everybody? My LLs, my Lubar listeners, my fellow real estate investors and fellow real estate enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Lubari Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about building wealth through multifamily real estate. And more importantly, building the person who's capable of sustaining it. Now, for today's episode, this one right here, this you're listening to right now. The goal is to give you more of a shift of perspective. Because most people in this space, what are they doing? They're chasing deals. They scroll through listings, refresh their emails, and they ask, where are all the deals? But the real ones, the ones who actually win in this business, they don't chase deals. The deals find them. Yeah, I know that sounds like some kind of corny Instagram quote, but today I'm going to break down exactly what that means, tactically and mentally, of course. Because the truth is, you have to earn the deal before you ever even see the deal. Okay, so let's discuss the truth about deal flow. There are deals out there, and good ones. Cash flowing deals, value add deals, and deals in strong markets. So if they exist, why aren't they hitting your inbox? Why aren't brokers calling you first? And it has nothing to do with luck or timing or because you don't have enough money. It's because in this business, deal flow is a reflection of identity. Who you are, how you show up, and how you execute. These three things are what determines what opportunities come your way. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Okay? Now, let's segue into some broker psychology, okay? Of course, you have to know how to speak their language, okay? So let's step into the broker's shoes. A broker's job is fairly simple. Close a deal, get paid, move on to the next. They're not emotionally attached. They're not here to teach you. They're not here to babysit your underwriting process, even though they can help. But they care about three things: certainty of close, speed, and clean execution. That's it. So when they look at you, they're thinking to themselves and asking, can this person actually close? Or can this team actually close? Are they going to waste my time? And are they going to retrade and mess up my deal? And this is where most people get it wrong. They show up saying, hey, I'm looking for deals. I'm trying to get started. That's what you're really saying is, I'm not ready. Instead, it would behoove you to show up like this. Here's our buy box. Here's our criteria. Here's how we execute. Send me some deals that fit this, and we'll move quickly. Now, did you notice the difference? One is hoping. The other is operating. Okay? So when you state that, you need to be aware that your buy box is your weapon. If you don't know what you're looking for, you won't recognize it when it shows up. Your buy box is your filter, your standard, and your identity on paper. Okay? So for example, if you know that you're looking for Class B and Class C properties, all right? So for Class B, you want to make sure, well, this is This is my buy box, okay? So I'm looking for Class B. Me and my team are looking for Class B and Class C properties. For Class B, we want to achieve about a 5 to 7% cash on cash return with at least a 1.5 equity multiplier. For Class C, we want 7% plus cash on cash with over a 1.7x return overall. And, that also depends on the markets that we search in, the unit count, the vintage, and our strategy or our business plan. Now, that is how brokers take you seriously, knowing what you want, because now you're not just another investor. You're a buyer, and buyers get priority. If you're vague, you're invisible. And like I've said many times before on multiple other episodes, it's better to aim at your target with a sniper rifle than it is to aim at your target with a shotgun. All right, next thing up is speed, because speed wins the deals. Let me give you excuse me. First, let me get some water. All right, so let me start by giving you a competitive edge right now, all right, when it comes to speed. The ability to look at a deal and within hours, not days, be able to say we're in or we're out. That comes from reps, all right? Just like when you're in the gym, the more you do, the better you get. That comes from understanding your numbers so well that you can run napkin underwriting in your head. Number of units times the average rent times the occupancy times 12 to annualize it minus expenses. And rule of thumb is always expect about 50% expenses. And then divide by the cap rate. Boom. Now you have your purchase price or your estimated offer price. You're not guessing anymore. Now you're moving into the realm of deciding. And brokers remember that because speed will always signal competence. All right. And the next thing is your reputation. Okay. So when they say reputation precedes you, it does. And your reputation will always be more important than the amount of capital that you have. Because people want to do business with people who do good business. So let me say something that might change how you move in this business. Your reputation is worth far more than your capital. All right? Your reputation is worth far more than your capital. Because you can always raise money. You can find partners and you can structure deals. But if your name gets associated with retrading deals unnecessarily, not closing, or wasting time, then you're done. And the opposite is also true. If your name becomes solid, reliable, and straightforward, you become the call before the deal goes. This is where you start getting those off-market opportunities. That's where the real opportunities are, not on LoopNet, not blasted to 10,000 people, but quietly sent to the few who earned it. Because you proved that you're real, you're serious, and that you can close. And remember that your word is a bond. Okay, next, let's talk about follow-up. Because follow-up separates professionals from amateurs. And the money is always in the follow-up. Because most people, they're just going to send one email and then disappear. Then they say, oh man, brokers don't send me any deals. Well, of course not, because you disappeared. Why would they send someone more deals who's inconsistent? Right? But the ones who are serious, they follow up weekly check-ins, quick updates, sharing what they're working on, and not begging, not pitch slapping. Don't ever pitch slap, and just staying present. In this business, familiarity builds trust, and trust builds access. That's why in the off season, when it's slower, like in the fall and the winter, you should still be communicating with brokers. And even if you get a deal from a broker, right? You underwrite it, you look at all the numbers and it doesn't work out. The best thing that you can do is be honest with them, saying why you're not going on this deal, saying why you're going to pass, and then giving them feedback as to why. That helps them take information to the sellers, and it helps the sellers, either adjust or maybe take the deal off market. Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper. Let's add a life there, because a layer of life. Yeah, you guys know what I'm trying to say. But who you are determines what you receive, because this isn't just about real estate. This is about life, and real estate is a people business. And if you're inconsistent in your habits, you'll also be inconsistent in your results. If you lack the discipline in your body, then you're most likely going to lack discipline in your business. If you fold under pressure, how do you expect to survive deal cycles or when there's a turn down in the market? This is why I always say discipline creates luck. You wake up early, you go to the gym, you study deals when no one's watching, you make calls even when you don't feel like it. Because, none of this is random. You get out what you put in. And when preparation meets opportunity, that is how you create luck. It's just like when you see a millionaire or a celebrity on the street or someone that finally made it after digging themselves out of a hole, you say, "Oh, they're so lucky. Look at what life handed them." But you don't see all the work that they put in behind the scenes. All the early mornings, the late nights, the stress that they had to go through, and all the effort that they put in to becoming who they are now and getting to where they're at. And then as always, you always have to remember the law of the first deal as well. Because the first deal will always be the hardest one. That's where you have a lot of doubt. That's where resistance is the strongest. But once you close that first deal, everything changes. Your confidence, your credibility, especially your network. And that's why I say, feed the baby. You got to protect it. You got to nurture it. You need to make sure it wins, because that one deal opens doors that you can't even see yet. All because you put in the work to do one deal. It almost solidifies you, but it definitely gives you a boost. And then lastly, you have to operate like you're already that person, that guy, that woman. That's where you really need to shift your mindset. You need to operate like you've already done 10 deals. Don't fake it till you make it. Earn it internally. How you speak, how you move, and how you make decisions. because brokers can feel uncertainty just like anyone else. We're all people here. And this is a people business. It's all about the people. And they can feel your conviction. And conviction comes from preparation. Okay? Now let's bring all of this full circle. The goal here is not to find a deal. The goal is to become the type of person deals can trust. Because when you do that, you don't chase deals, you start attracting deals. They come to you. You don't express hope. You're not hoping and wishing. Instead, you're executing. And doors start opening. It's crazy. In doors that you didn't even know existed. So keep at it. And I'll leave you guys with this. Opportunities don't knock on doors. They show up for people who've already built the house. Now, hey, if you got value from this episode, share it with someone who's on this journey with you. And as always, keep building, keep learning, and remember, everything is always working out for you if you're doing the work. I see you guys on the next one. I love you all, and be blessed.